It's time for Mr. Fundamental!
Presented by no one.
Last season, Brook Lopez surprised everyone with how much he changed his game. From a low post scorer to a 3-and-D stretch big. This skill set for a legit 7-footer is very valuable, and even more rare for someone to change their playstyle in their prime. In preseason, we saw multiple traditional bigs attempting threes. Not all of them can become the next Splash Mountain, but let's take a look at who might. First up, Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert?
Psych, I just wanted to add in flight reacts. Okay, the first candidate, Dewayne Dedmon. He's already taking that step already, by taking just under 4 3-pointers a game, and making them at a 38 clip last season. With great slashers in De'Aaron Fox and Marvin Bagley, it won't be surprising to see him up his attempt to at least 4 to 5 attempts per game, to pull the opponent's center out of the paint. Defensively, he's a rim protector, who just averaged a career high in blocks, and only allowed opponents to hit 57% of their shot from within 6 feet of the basket. The Bucks adjusted their defensive schemes with Lopez last season, by stationing him right in front of the rim, but it did give up the most open 3-pointers attempted in the league. In contrast, Dedmon has more mobility to switch onto the perimeter as well, which makes him even more valuable than Lopez. Even if Dedmon doesn't put up eye-popping block numbers next season, his switching ability makes him effective in any team's defensive schemes. The second is Kleber. Even though this will be his 3rd season, he'll be 28 in the middle of the upcoming season. As a stretch big, he won't have a drastic change in playstyle like Lopez or even Dedmon, but his improvement as a rim protector makes him a good inclusion here. He averaged around 3 attempts from deep and over a block a game in just 21 minutes. He also allowed opponents to shoot 53% from within 6 feet of the rim. What makes these numbers even better is that he played most of his minutes at the 4. That means he's experienced at chasing smaller players and effective in switching schemes. With Luka and KP taking the spotlight, Kleber could get even more wide open looks, and it seems like the Mavs will up their pace next season, which won't hurt his chances either. Kleber should get more minutes as well, since he is the most well-rounded big behind KP. Now moving on to the lower tiers, those who might replicate his 3-and-D style on a smaller scale, or only fulfills one of these criteria. This brings us to Jonas Valans. As a 27-year-old low-post bruiser, JV's skill set is becoming more rare by the minute. After getting traded to the Grizzlies, JV started a lot of his possessions out on top, either reversing the ball, pick and rolls, or handoffs. With Taylor Jenkins at the helm, an assistant coach from the Bucks, JV will be upping his 3-ball volume next season. I mean, even Miles Plumlee had the green light to take threes. JV has demonstrated good touch on his mid-range jumpers and at the free throw line. Defensively, he's not a great rim protector, but made some strides after joining the Grizzlies. Whether he'll continue this and make threes consistently is still unclear, but his change in play style makes him a worthy inclusion. Next up, all of the Bucks centers. Okay, I know I'm cheating here, but a team that fully unleashed the Splash Mountain will definitely have their new centers do the same. Robin Lopez signed with the Bucks and just took under 3 attempts from deep per game in preseason. His transition is very similar to Valanciunas. He has shown a good shooting touch based on his free throw shooting and occasional mid-range jumpers throughout his career, so it won't be surprising if he's able to make threes at just under the league average rate. He's not known as a prolific shot blocker, but if the Bucks station him at the rim, like they did with his brother, his block numbers could go up. He's just going to be a backup center next season, but if he can replicate the same impact as his brother, the Bucks can have a 3-and-D big on the floor the whole game. Another Bucks center is Dragan Bender, an underrated signing in my opinion. I won't be surprised if the Bucks turn him into next Brook Lopez in a few years' time. I won't go too in-depth on him because he's still young and he came out of the draft as a potential 3-and-D big. Alex Len is another young prospect just heading into his prime. He just set a career high in 3-pointers attempted last season and hit them at a 36% clip. If he can do this at a higher volume, he'll fulfill the 3-ball side of Splash Mountain. As for his defense, he is a decent shot blocker, but he hasn't been on a league average defensive team before. With Trae Young and John Collins on the team, Len's potential defensive impact could be minimized. I have a few more selections, but they won't get a big enough role or they're really lacking in one area. One of them is Kyle O'Quinn, He has been a great per 36 stats player. Even though his stint with the Pacers didn't go well, his ability to make jumpers and block shots make him a good choice. When the Sixers got Boban mid-season last year, he started taking some threes, so I'm sure O'Quinn will do the same. What's stopping him is a small role, playing behind Embiid and Horford. Gorgui Dieng is on the same boat. He's shown good touch on his jumper and feel as a shot blocker, but a small role will limit his volume. I also want to touch upon Enes Kanter, because the Celtics has been so successful in recent years, partly because of the spacing they get from their bigs. So I won't be surprised if Kanter started taking threes next season, but don't expect any defensive contributions even close to what Brook Lopez does. I deliberately left out accomplished 3-and-D bigs and young prospects from my list, because they're either already at Lopez's level, aka Miles Turner and Marc Gasol, or the potential to do so, like Mo Bamba, Triple J, and even Zach Collins. This is because the new generation of bigs are now more perimeter oriented, whereas what makes the Splash Mountain's transformation so impressive is changing his style deep into his NBA career. Thank you for watching this video and I hope you enjoyed it. Comment down below on who you think can become the next Splash Mountain, or any other players that I've left out. Please give it a like down below, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.